Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new Doctor Who Big Finish review. So anyway, yesterday I went to a beer and ale festival with my family. So on the way in the car, on the way to the hotel and back from the hotel today, I've been listening to a 4-part story from Big Finish known as Sword of the Orion, starring the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, with Ida Fisher as Charlie Pollard, and of course the very first story to feature the Cybermen versus the 8th Doctor. And what did I think of this particular story for the 8th Doctor's Sword of Orion? Now, it was absolutely brilliant. It's got some gruesome bits in it. It's absolutely fantastic. The Cybermen are fabulous. I absolutely love the Cybermen in this episode story. And I know it's on audio, but I actually prefer this to the first story and the only story I got in my shelf, which is Return to Terros. I actually prefer this over to that one. I know it's a Tom. I'm sorry, Tom, but I actually prefer this story over to Return to Terros. I absolutely loved it. Sword of Orion is just another fantastic story for the 8th Doctor by Big Finish. And to be honest with you, this is Paul McGann's second ever Big Finish audio of the 8th Doctor. Now, I listened to this through Spotify. Now, if I ever get the opportunity, I will probably buy this on CD if I can actually ever find it, because this is out of print. Now, luckily, Spotify's got from issue 1 down to 50 on Spotify. So you can actually listen to it. You can, if you've got Spotify, you know what to do. You know, you can actually press this little green button and it literally circles it. So when you don't have the internet, you can still listen to it. And I probably will go back and re-listen to this story at some point. This is just another fantastic story to feature the 8th Doctor, played by Paul McGann. I really did enjoy it, and I love how he is with the Cybermen, the 8th Doctor, to encounter with the Cybermen. I mean, I've got quite a few reviews coming out. I've got the Science of Time coming out at some point, and I've got Gallifrey, which is my first ever fan mail, what I got through the post. So anyway, Sword of the Orion, what can I tell you? How good is this story? It is genius. It is fantastic and stuff. The Cybermen feel so classic, and I just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved the casting. I loved the spaceship as well. Just absolutely a general fantastic story as well. I keep saying that it's just a general fantastic story, but I absolutely loved it. It is creepy, it's horrifying from the sound of it. This will definitely be a good sort of Halloween story. So how can I start it off with? So following off the previous story, which is Storm's Warning, which I haven't really listened to. I should have really listened to that one before I listened to Sword of the Orion. I just want to listen to a good Cyberman story. I've been looking through Spotify for Cyberman stories, and I've come across Sword of the Orion, and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to listen to Sword of the Orion, because it's a Cyberman story. I want to listen to. I want to experience more Cyberman story from Big Finish, because I think they've done so well in Return to Terros, and I want to listen to more Cybermen stories. So we have this kind of like space crew that ends up having a kind of woman captain take over, who is actually an android and on the mission for the androids to try and get the Cybermen on their side, pretending to be human and everything. It's very complicated sort of things as well. I love the whole point of the spaceship when the Doctor and Charlie end up going to investigate, and the TARDIS ends up gets taken aboard the shuttlecraft, and when they literally try to escape from the collision between the cruise ship and of course the massive base station where the Cybermen are lying dormant, and of course when the crew go to investigate and the TARDIS basically does materialize onto the actual cyber ship after the Doctor basically ends up getting the time mechanism, the TARDIS basically stuck inside the space force field or something like that. Anyway, but he also ties onto the ship where the Cybermen are. So anyway, as he goes to investigate, him and Charlie end up hearing one of the crew member screaming, and they do try and rescue him. Their hands get covered in blood in the audio, until they find out what he was attacked by, which is a Cyberman, a rogue Cyberman. So a Cyberman that's basically come out of the tomb going, like you see in the Invasion, and of course in some other stories with a rogue Cyberman just storming around the place. Again, absolutely fantastic the way the voice of the Cyberman is by Nicholas Briggs. And Even though on the art covering they do look like a bit like the 1968 versions of the Cybermen, they still sound pretty much like the 1987. I really love the fact we have it. They actually do sound like the 1980s, not the actual 60s Cybermen and early 70s. I absolutely love this audio, and when you kind of hear the woman saying, "I have information on the Doctor" to the cyber leader, I love it. And when the cyber leader goes, "Why was I not activated first? We had a problem with the system, leader. Revive the other Cybermen." I love that. I really love listening to the cyber leader. It's like, this is so classic. This is just so classic and really enjoyable listening to. And I absolutely love listening to this story. And anyway, so as the plot gets on, the Doctor basically does try to warn someone because of the Iron Storm coming across the space station, which at the end of it gets blown up and all the Summoner are literally there drifting across space and everything. And the Doctor and Charlie do get in the TIEs and go off somewhere else, which is in the next story, which, to be honest with you, I need to listen to that one as well. So that's just a little summary. I don't want to give too much in case you haven't listened to Storm and Orion. Now, for me, to actually experience this story for the first time, it is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I really think this story is just a fantastic Cyberman story. When you hear the Cybermen like ripping apart human bodies and making blood pour out and stuff, very horrific. And I don't really think this would ever be shown on TV if it was ever made. I mean, come on, people moaned just when Linton got his hands crushed by Cybermen in 1985 in Attack of the Cybermen. They literally crushed his hands and he's there screaming, going, "Ah!" And he falls with the blood just pouring out of his hands. So I really think this story would not have done well with the viewings and stuff if it was ever made, but for the TV. But thank God it works in audio. You can imagine it, you listen to it. It brings up the viewing for you. And the rest of the cast is all brilliant. I need to get this on CD so I can find out who is the actual cast of this audio, because all of them are just fantastic. And I really love listening to this one in the car travelling down to Chesterfield and back from Chesterfield. I just absolutely love listening to this audio adventure. So that's basically it. This story is a 10 out of 10. It's just fantastic. So thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join me for more awesome Doctor Who content.